do this.
You need to stop
Gemma,
this.
quiet. I need you to get up slowly.
That asshole is going to get us killed.
I choose the left tap.
Left tap turning on.
The movie kicks off with a guy making his way to a party. At the party, there are 4 different friend groups. Chris is there with his girlfriend, Gemma, while Eleanor is hanging out with her boyfriend, Paul. Then there's Luke, the only single guy, who also happens to be the group's go-to drug dealer whenever there's a party. While Chris, Paul, and Luke are having a blast, a socially awkward guy named Felix walks in. He has a huge crush on Gemma and just stands there, watching her from distance. Noticing this, Luke strolls over to Felix and tries to hype him up, encouraging him to go talk to Gemma.
Gemma, on the turn me, anything good.
To boost his confidence, Luke hands him one of his special courage pills. Meanwhile, Eleanor and Paul sneak away into a room for some private time.
I'm so horny.
Just as things start heating up, Paul suddenly collapses from whatever he took earlier. Meanwhile, Felix, now feeling like a new man thanks to the pill, finally approaches Gemma and asks her out for a coffee or a movie.
Okay.
I mean, obviously...
She invites him to sit and chat, telling him she never expected him to have feelings for her. But, unfortunately for Felix, she already has a boyfriend, Chris.
And he does.
Little do they know, Eleanor is secretly watching them from upstairs. The night hits its peak when Eleanor initiates a truth or dare game. When it's Felix's turn, he picks truth. Eleanor, always stirring the pot, asks him if he could hook up with any girl in the room.
He's lucky.
Who would it be? Then, just to make things spicier, she hands him a fake free pass to make it happen. As expected, Felix confidently hands the pass to Gemma. Chris's expression instantly darkens.
Let's play truth or dare.
Trying to keep things light, he invites Felix to join in the fun. Then, out of nowhere, he punches him in the face. Gemma loses it, furious that Chris took things too far, and storms out after Felix. While Felix is outside, nursing his busted lip, someone approaches him. Fast forward a month later. Chris and Luke are heading to Felix's birthday party.
Not like any of us are paupers.
Well, that was fun.
Meanwhile, Eleanor, Gemma, and Paul are also on their way in a separate car. They're all intrigued by a recent article claiming Felix comes from a super rich family.
Girls or something, but honestly, I think...
Eleanor is particularly interested since her dad's company went bankrupt over the summer. In other news, Gemma and Chris have broken up because of the whole truth or dare fiasco. After what seems like a long drive, they finally arrive at Felix's enormous house. Chris and Luke pull up first and exchange greetings.
Oh, I made mad.
Then, an older man arrives in a car and informs them that the party isn't at the house. It's actually being held at an old cabin deep in the woods.
Birthday.
Since the road isn't suited for city cars, they have to walk about 800 yards through a muddy, waterlogged path. Eleanor, not wanting to ruin her insanely expensive shoes, demands someone carry her.
Like a true lady.
When they finally reach the cabin, they're met by a guy named Justin, who introduces himself as Felix's older brother. Once inside, Justin drops a bombshell. Felix isn't actually there.
Places to crash, you're more than welcome to hang out here.
Apparently, he's stuck in Chile due to some travel issues. Felix had been volunteering at a hospital there, giving back to the community. Justin claims the whole purpose of the party was to surprise Felix when he returned.
Grand. Grab 6 glasses, my friend.
Even though the main event is canceled, Justin insists they stay and enjoy the food, drinks, and some party favors, including a bit of weed. As they chat, Justin casually mentions that he's a soldier who just got back from Afghanistan.
Felix's street, though.
Yeah, right.
It quickly becomes clear that he's got some strong opinions, casually throwing around homophobic slurs.
Done his
Are you and Gemma an item?
Then, he shifts the conversation to Gemma and Chris's relationship. Chris assumes Justin is into Gemma, but Justin laughs it off, saying she isn't his type. Felix, however, had a thing for her.
Yes. We are his...
As the night goes on, Justin suggests they play truth or dare. The bottle spins, and Eleanor goes first choosing dare.
Eleanor?
Chris dares her to kiss Gemma in front of everyone, and without hesitation, she does it, shocking Luke, Chris, and Paul. The bottle spins again, landing on Gemma. She picks truth, and Chris wastes no time asking if she'd take him back.
Sorry.
She flat out rejects him in front of everyone. The game continues until Justin purposely stops the bottle on himself and picks truth. Before anyone can ask a question, he drops a chilling revelation. Felix isn't in Chile.
Afghanistan stewing in sweat and...
He actually hanged himself, right in this very cabin. Eleanor bursts out laughing, thinking it's a joke, but Chris isn't so sure.
family honors at stake.
Justin goes on, saying that when he came back from Afghanistan, he found Felix in a terrible state. Paul asks why they were even invited if Felix wasn't here.
Stewing in sweat and fear.
Justin simply says he needs answers. He wants to know what happened at that party a month ago that led to his brother's death.
There's no party, and it's just...
Justin then pulls out a postcard he found in Felix's pocket. He asks who sent it, but no one speaks up. Chris starts feeling uneasy and decides it's time to leave, but Justin blocks his way. Chris throws a punch, but Justin, being a trained soldier, easily dodges it. Eleanor tries to hit Justin with a bottle, but he slaps her hard, shutting her down. Things escalate when Justin pulls out a gun and shoots Paul in the leg to make sure they take him seriously. Justin orders Luke to set up chairs in a circle. Paul tries to sneakily call for help, but Justin catches him and shoots his finger clean off. Luke is then forced to collect everyone's phones and car keys, locking them away in a box filled with weapons, including grenades. Once everyone is tied to their chairs, Justin repeats his demand. Someone needs to admit to sending that postcard, or things will get worse. When no one confesses, he gives them a moment to discuss among themselves. Then, he pulls Luke outside for a chat. Outside, Justin presses Luke about the postcard. Luke swears he had nothing to do with it and barely even knew Felix. The only thing he ever did was give Felix a confidence-boosting pill at the party. Meanwhile, inside the cabin, the remaining group starts turning on each other. They accuse Chris since the postcard contained words he had said right before punching Felix. Paul tells Gemma to grab something from the desk behind her, but as she tries to move, she accidentally tips over and crashes to the ground. Hearing the commotion, Justin storms back in. He tells them that if someone confesses, the rest can walk free. If not, the game of truth or dare will continue, but with deadly consequences. Gemma is up first, picking truth. Justin asks her who she thinks sent the postcard. She swears she doesn't know, but he slaps her across the face. Under pressure, she names Chris. Chris protests, demanding to know when the postcard was sent. When Justin says it was mailed from London on September 7th, Chris argues that he was in Spain at the time. But Eleanor isn't convinced, suggesting he could have had someone else send it for him. With the tension skyrocketing, the game moves on to Chris. He picks dare. Without hesitation, Justin drags something into the room and sets it next to Gemma. He lays her down and shoves a long tube into her mouth. It quickly becomes clear Justin is about to use a brutal interrogation method to get his answers. There are two tubes of liquid, one filled with regular tap water and the other with battery acid. Chris is given a choice, pick one bottle. But instead of deciding, he lashes out at Justin, calling him a lunatic. Justin, unfazed, raises the stakes. If Chris refuses to choose, then Gemma will be forced to drink from the acid-filled tube. Left with no real option, Chris finally picks the bottle on the left. The liquid starts flowing into Gemma's mouth, but luckily, it turns out to be just water. Next up, the bottle is spun again, and it's Justin's turn. He picks truth. Gemma takes the opportunity to ask why Justin specifically picked the 5 of them from the party to be here. Justin reveals that a month ago, he found a photo of them, scratched out, in Felix's room. The game moves on, and now it's Eleanor's turn. She also picks truth. Justin throws a twisted question at her. She has to decide whether she or one of her 3 friends will take on his next challenge. With no real choice, Eleanor is forced to choose Chris. Justin steps out for a moment and returns holding the same 2 bottles, one of water, one of battery acid. Chris, shaking with fear, finally admits that he was the one who sent the mysterious postcard before leaving for Spain. Eleanor had been right all along, but it's too little too late. Justin doesn't care about excuses anymore. He shoves a tube into Chris's mouth, ready to make him drink. Paul, unable to hold back his anger, starts yelling at Justin. calling him a pathetic loser with no friends. Then he brings up something that happened at the party, a moment that changed everything. Paul and Eleanor had been fooling around in a room when Felix walked in on them. Paul, in the heat of the moment, humiliated him, calling him homo. This revelation pushes Justin over the edge. He forces Paul to pick a bottle. Left with no choice, Paul chooses the one on the left. But this time it's the wrong choice. The bottle contains battery acid. Chris is the one who pays the price. His body burns up in agony, a horrific sight. Before Justin can move on with the game, Luke's friend, Jonesy, unexpectedly shows up at the cabin. Justin immediately realizes the threat and orders Luke to get rid of him. But Jonesy, sensing something is off, refuses to leave. He insists he won't go home after coming all this way. Just then, Justin steps outside and, instead of pushing Jonesy away, invites him in. Jonesy grows more suspicious as Justin starts forcing him to participate. He makes a quick move, spraying something into Justin's eyes. While Justin stumbles in pain, Gemma struggles to free herself. She tries to reach for something in a drawer, but ends up falling over, spilling its contents everywhere. Meanwhile, Justin recovers and takes his revenge on Jonesy, beating him until he's unconscious. Luke, now holding a weapon in his pocket, wants to fight back, but fear paralyzes him. Justin hands Luke a gun and orders him to shoot Jonesy. At the same time, Gemma finally manages to cut herself loose. Eleanor yells at her to run. She escapes through the back window, disappearing into the woods. Back inside, Paul questions Eleanor. Was she the one who sent Felix the postcard? Both deny it, realizing neither of them is the culprit. Eleanor, almost free from her restraints, works quickly before Justin and Luke return, dragging Jonasy's lifeless body behind them. Seeing Gemma gone, Justin storms out, determined to hunt her down. Meanwhile, Gemma makes it to Felix's house and discovers something shocking. Felix is still alive. He lies in bed, staring at a computer screen showing live footage from the cabin's CCTV. While she processes this, an old man, the family's caretaker, emerges. He explains that Felix's current condition is the result of a failed suicide attempt. When he tries to shoot Gemma, she reacts fast, threatening Felix. The caretaker backs off but doesn't really surrender. Instead, a struggle breaks out, and in the chaos, Gemma accidentally shoots him in the head. Justin arrives just in time to witness this and chases Gemma down. Dragging her back to Felix's room, he kills her in front of Felix by snapping her neck. Back at the cabin, Eleanor begs Luke to let them go, but he's still too afraid. He clings to the idea that as long as he obeys Justin, he's safe. Plus, since he's already killed Jonesy, he believes Justin is his only way out of a murder charge. Eleanor tries reasoning with him. If Justin's goal is to find out who sent the postcard, then once Paul and Eleanor are dead, Luke will be next. That realization suddenly dawns on her. Luke is the one who sent the postcard. Luke finally confesses. He had no idea his prank would push Felix to attempt suicide. Paul, bleeding out and desperate, begs Luke for help. Instead, Luke decides to numb himself with drugs from Chris's pocket. He even offers Paul some to ease his pain. Eleanor, pretending to go along, asks for some too. But the second Luke hands her a dose, she bites down on his little finger. He screams in pain and tries to grab her, but Eleanor has already freed herself. She shoves Luke backward, right onto a garden fork, killing him instantly. Grabbing a gun from the floor, Eleanor helps Paul escape through the back door. Justin returns just in time to see them running. Eleanor doesn't hesitate. She fires a shot through a wooden post, hitting Justin in the shoulder. She tries to finish him off, but he fights back, stabbing her in the arm with a piece of iron. The two engage in a brutal struggle. In the end, Eleanor smashes a bottle of battery acid over Justin's head, burning his face. With the last of her strength, she ties him to a wooden pole. Paul, waiting outside in the car, opens the door, only to find Gemma's lifeless body inside. Shocked, he barely has time to react before Eleanor emerges from the cabin, ready to end things once and for all. Before leaving, she reminds Justin of one final truth. Felix's suicide attempt didn't happen the night after the party, but the night before Justin returned from Afghanistan. That meant Felix would rather die than face Justin again. Felix, watching from his bed, silently confirms this. Then Eleanor reveals the real twist. After Felix got punched by Chris at the party, she had taken him aside, comforted him, and led him into a room where she manipulated him into doing something to a passed-out Paul. She had recorded the whole thing and used it to blackmail Felix's wealthy family. Her motive? She needed money after her father's company went bankrupt. And in a cruel irony, the same Paul who mocked Felix for being homo had unknowingly been a pawn in her scheme. Before leaving, Eleanor places a grenade in Felix's hand. As she and Paul drive away, Felix pulls the pin. The cabin explodes, taking both him and Justin with it. And just like that, the nightmare finally comes to an end.